If you spent any time around investigators, military interviewers, or experienced law enforcement professionals, you've probably heard the term roping. Well, it doesn't deal with cattle. Depending on who you ask, roping can mean slightly different things, but at its core, it's a technique designed to get someone talking by allowing them to psychologically invest themselves in a story, an explanation, or a narrative. Here's the important part. Roping can be used for two very different objectives. One is obtaining a confession, and the other is gathering intelligence. Those two goals may sound similar, but they require entirely different mindsets, ethics, and approaches. Let's talk about that. The basic concept behind roping is simple. Imagine throwing a rope around a subject, not physically, but conversationally. You give them room, you encourage them to explain, you allow them to build details, you avoid unnecessary interruptions. Little by little, they become committed to their version of the events. People naturally seek consistencies. Once they have invested time and emotion into a story, they tend to continue elaborating rather than shutting down. That is the rope. What happens next depends entirely on your objective. If your goal is a confession, the traditional use of roping is designed to identify contradictions, lock a person into details, and gradually narrow their options until telling the truth becomes the easiest path forward. The interviewer asks broad questions. They revisit timelines. They may have the subject explain events multiple times from different perspectives. As inconsistencies appear, pressure increases, not through aggression, but through evidence, logic, and accountability. Eventually, the subject recognizes that maintaining a false story requires more effort than admitting what actually happened. That is confession-oriented roping. And there are legal and ethical boundaries that must always be respected. No threats, no promises, no coercion, no conduct that violates professional standards. The objective is truth, not simply obtaining the words that sound like a confession. Now let's talk about intelligence gathering. This is where many investigators, security professionals, and military personnel make a critical mistake. When gathering intelligence, your objective is not confession, it's information. Those are entirely different missions. In the intelligence work, roping means allowing someone to talk freely so you can understand relationships, motivations, patterns, habits, and environments. You are not trying to corner them, you are trying to learn from them. In fact, if you push a confession when your real goal is intelligence, you often shut down the very source of information that you are trying to cultivate. One lesson repeatedly reinforced during my counterintelligence work was simple. The person talking to you is more valuable speaking than they are silent. If they are talking, they are providing data. They may mention names, they may reveal routines, they may expose fears, loyalties, or conflicts. They may unintentionally provide the one piece of information that solves an entirely different problem. That's intelligence gathering. The rope isn't tightening. The rope is extending at that point. You are giving them more room to move because every movement teaches you something. The practical example comes from my time running warrant operations in North Georgia. Whenever we developed a possible address for a target, we didn't immediately begin knocking on doors. Instead, we found the nearest convenience store. We would walk in, buy a drink, strike up a conversation with the clerks, and simply let them talk. People who work neighborhood stores know pretty much everything. They know who comes and goes. They know what vehicles belong there. They know who works nights and who moved in recently and who had police at their house last week. We were not looking for confessions. We were gathering intelligence. We used conversational roping by asking open-ended questions, showing genuine curiosity, and allowing people to provide details at their own pace. The more comfortable they became, the more valuable the information became. That is the distinction every investigator should remember. Confession-based roping narrows the field. Intelligence-based roping expands it. One seeks admission, the other seeks understanding. One applies pressure through evidence and consistency, and the other creates space for conversation and observation. Neither approach is inherently better. They are simply tools designed for different objectives. The mistakes come when investigators confuse the two. Before every interview, ask yourself one simple question. What am I trying to obtain? Are you trying to obtain a confession, or are you trying to obtain intelligence? Because the answer to that question determines everything that follows. And as we say here at Advanced Protective Services, attitude is everything, but details make the difference. My name is Andy Crutchfield, and thank you for watching Advanced Protective Services Tidbit Tuesday. If you will, and you like the video, please hit the subscribe button. It's right over here. Don't forget to hit that bell so that you'll be notified whenever we do an upload, and we do one each and every week.